Time to continue culling the collection. Bin in some Blu-rays. Throw in some films. Ditch in some dross. Let's do it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another culling of the collection video where every 2 weeks I'm going to do this on a shelf by shelf basis. That way the video doesn't take too long. It feels like I'm doing it in small increments rather than, you know, ending up with masses of stuff in one go. Easier to digest like that for me. And now I've had a few comments here and there that, you know, well, you're throwing stuff away, but you're still buying stuff. This isn't about me stopping collecting. No. This is about me coming to the realisation that over time I have acquired a lot of crap in the collection. Okay, art is subjective, so what I consider to be crap, you might consider to be a good film, and vice versa. That's the way it goes. But these are films that I feel that I no longer need. I won't watch again. Films that most definitely I have doubled down on in either in box sets or upgraded to 4K. So there's that sort of a thing. Now the question still remains, what am I going to do with all of these titles? Because I have had some people make suggestions and this sort of thing. I've had some people ask for a couple of titles that I'm going to follow through on and this sort of a thing. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to set aside everything. Now, I don't really want to sell to CEX because you only get pennies for them, for the majority of them. But I am going to check their worth, most definitely, because I might be throwing out, getting rid of something that actually holds a little bit of value because it is out of print and I'm not aware of that. Or, do you know what I mean? And if I can get some money to come back in to go and feed the collection moving forward, then so be it. So I'm going to do that. The stuff that's left over at the end of the day, when I'm done this shelf by shelf, and it shouldn't take too long in a sense because I'm not including the special editions, I'm not including the steelbooks or anything like that. It's literally just the Blu-ray shelves. When all is said and done, I will do a final video where I show all of the films that I have left with, and I'll open it up to people to say, could I have this, could I have that? And you know, I don't want nothing for the films, most definitely. So it would just be like a postage cost or something like that. Because if I've got 100 people asking for 100 films, it's going to cost me 100 quid. So I'll do it like that. So what I'll do is I'll hold all this stuff to one side, and then, you know, we'll go through it again at the very end. I'll say, I've got this, and I'll open it up to people saying, can I have this film, can I have that film, and it's kind of first come first served basis, and we'll do it like that if people want anything. So let's get into the shelf that we're going to be looking at today, which is, it looks like it's a D shelf. Yes, Delta. D for Delta. Now I've got to get this little fella out of the way because he's always, look how big this dog has got. My God, he's got huge. He's going for a cut today. Getting rid of all this fur. It's his first normal cut. He's had 2 puppy cuts, but today he's going to get trimmed, and I'm pretty sure he's going to look a whole lot smaller afterwards, aren't you? Because your fur is just all over the show, isn't it? Down you get. So let me just make some adjustments to this camera. Okay, so I'm quite cosy. I'm down this aisle now and we can begin. The shelf I'm looking at, appreciate it, you can't see it, it's this one here. We're going to go through these titles and see how many There actually are. Now, the reason, like I said, this has come about is because of my series called, I can never remember the name of it, Desert Island Discs, Desert Island Movies, where I've gone through, and some people have actually said to me, "You got some rubbish in that collection," and I'm like, "Yeah, I have." A lot of this stuff has come from buying very cheap products when I've been to CEX and been to, this is the dross I'm talking about, CEX and Poundland, and thinking, oh, I ain't seen that film, I'll buy it, it's cheap, why not, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee, £1, £1.50, but I end up with space issues and things like that. So it's come about for that. So let's begin, shall we? Let's get into it. So first up, and this is still sealed, this box set, and it is the Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry collection, which includes Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, Sudden Impact, and The Deadpool. Obviously, that's a collection of films that isn't going anywhere because they're all great films from a classic era. Clint Eastwood is always watchable. He's a great director as well. So there's no issue with me keeping that. Next up, we have Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. Now, as it stands at this present moment in time, I have in order a place for the Arrow 4K double pack box set from America for both of these films, for Conan and Conan the Destroyer. So at the time that, you know, at the moment, I'll put these back on the shelf because I haven't received that box set as of yet. The minute I receive it, then I will add them into that pile. I won't add them yet because something could go wrong. I could end up not getting it. I could, you know, there could be an issue as to why I don't end up getting it. Money issues. Something could come up that I need to divert my money elsewhere. So I can't do nothing with that one at the moment. And then I have the Conan the Barbarian remake starring Aquaman himself. Oh. Jason Momoa. Who, well, he was in, I remember him from Stargate Atlantis, which is quite ironic really because he's the king of Atlantis in Aquaman. He was in Stargate Atlantis. At the end of Aquaman 2, Atlantis reveals itself to the human race, although why they wouldn't know already because Aquaman's already about in the DC universe. And then at the end of Stargate Atlantis comes home to Earth, revealing itself to... sort of symmetry there. But anyway, so I will keep that one because it's part of the Conan franchise. It's a comic book movie essentially, and I do have a... I keep all my comic book movies, regardless of what I think of them. But there we go. So next up we have Legion and Insurgent, two of the Divergent movies, or whatever you want to call them. Are these the sequels? I got the other one on Steelbook. Now, they're never going to be watched. So they will go into the pile of stuff I can get rid of, and the Steelbook as well. I'll get rid of that one as well because the series was never completed. It never came to an end. There was no conclusion to it, and they weren't the best of films either. Next up, we have Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead in a double pack. I like the zombie genre, so you know what can I say? That's going nowhere. Dad's Army, the movie. I picked this up cheap, Poundland job. It's not one that I feel I need to keep. That one can go. Then we have Dan in Real Life. I've not actually watched this. It's still sealed. I like Steve Carell. I think he's great. Who was it who told me I would like this film? It was Derek over at, I watch his channel all the time. I watch his channel. He does the random rankings, in America. Hold on, I got a phone call. The channel name I'm looking for is Pure Hangout. How can I not know that? He's got a great channel, Derek. And I said to him, I don't think I've seen this one, not watched it. He goes, I think you'd like it. So I will give that one a try. For him. And then another cheap pickup starring Woody Harrelson and Liam Hemsworth, Duel, a Western. And again, it's sealed. It's not been watched. I've not seen it. It was a cheap pickup. So I'm not going to get rid of cheap pickups unless I've seen the film. I can't, I've got to make that judgment call first. Woody Harrelson is always a good watch. I used to watch him in Cheers. That's where I first, knew Woody Harrelson from. Liam Hemsworth, I don't really like the Hemsworth brothers, I'll be honest. Chris Hemsworth, I think, is great as Thor. He's got great screen presence there, but he's not really done anything outside of Thor that has excited me in any way, shape or form. So next up, we have Daughter of the Wolf, Gina Carano, Brendan Furr and Richard Dreyfuss. It's a cheap film, but I'm a big supporter of Gina Carano. I like Gina Carano a lot, so I will watch anything that she does and she is in, and I will keep that because I didn't mind it, even though it wasn't overly expensive. Then I have, the disc is loose in here, The Dark Side of the Moon. That's a keeper. I'll be keeping, without doubt. Now, if you can dodge a spanner, you can dodge a ball. Dodgeball. Very funny film. I do revisit it probably every couple of years. I like Ben Stiller. I like Vince Vaughn. Okay, Vince Vaughn, he's got no range. He's pretty much the same person in everything he does, but I find him watchable. I don't mind that, that lack of range. I think he's a decent watchable person. Now, this is a film. Demolition Man. I like Stallone. I love Stallone. I know a lot of people love this film, but I have massive issues with it. There's a story element to this film that just doesn't work for me, that contradicts the entire proceedings of the movie and takes me right out of the film. I really need to give it another watch. I really do. So that'll be keeping that one. Now, there might be a case here of I might go through a shelf and I keep everything on it. Who knows? At the moment, I've only got 3 films down there to get rid of. And it may go that way. And then there might be another shelf where I've got, last shelf had 14 on it. So there we go. Then we have the Death Race trilogy. So I'll keep that. I like Jason Statham. And generally, when I can't bring myself to get rid of part of a franchise, if that makes sense. I have to keep the entire franchise. So, it makes sense because I like the first one. And I like the sort of concept of, these cars done up with guns. And then we got Death Race Beyond Anarchy, which was the latter one that was done. Still sealed that. And also, £5 I pick this up. Death Race 2050. Roger Corman's Death Race. A newer version of Death Race this was, wasn't it? Yeah. And I like that sort of Mad Max-esque kind of vehicular mayhem type of nonsense film. Dante's Peak came out the same year as Volcano. I think it was 1997 for this movie, if I'm not mistaken. I may well be. Linda Hamilton, Pierce Brosnan, part of the disaster genre. I like disaster movies like this. Natural. I did study geography a lot when I was younger, and whenever it came to natural disasters, I'm fascinated by natural disasters. I'm fascinated by disasters, but there we go. So that's a keeper. What do we have here? Okay, we have The Duchess, £1.50. Honestly, don't think I'll be ever watching that one again. So that one will go. And The Dinosaur Project. It's got an interesting cover. But it's found footage, I believe, if I recall. And I can't watch found footage films. I just can't do them. Then we have classic film. 4K would be welcome for this movie. This is the extended cut of the film, Australian version, extended director's cut and the theatrical cut, both in there. And I remember my cinema trip for this film, and I loved it. It's a beautiful film. So that's a keeper. Then we have Duel. I have the 4K, so thusly this one is going to go into the exchange pile. I do have the 50th anniversary version as well. I have two Amarays for this, but I know that the 50th anniversary one, or whatever it is, sells for about £10 in CEX. So that's one of them ones where I'm saying I may get a few quid for it for trading or something like that, or be able to sell it at a decent price online. So, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm going to check the prices first. Then we have Dying in the Light, Nicolas Cage. I love Nicolas Cage. I think he's a fabulous actor, but obviously he did make a lot of dross, and unfortunately that is not a Nicolas Cage project I will watch again. And we have Devil's Advocate. Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron stars in this film. Decent film. Marky Mark, Wahlberg, and Kurt Russell. John Malkovich, Gina Rodriguez, Dylan O'Brien, Kate Hudson in Deepwater Horizon. It's a disaster movie based on a true story, and yeah, I'll be keeping that. I can't see myself throwing away anything that stars Kurt Russell. I'll be honest with you. I say throwing away. I'm not going to be throwing away. Okay. Then we have Dracula 2000. It's not a great film at all, but I remember when it came out and I had fun with it. Gerard Butler stars as Dracula, a young Gerard Butler. It's got a good ending. The twist as to who Dracula actually was quite a decent idea. Spoiler warning. Close your ears now if you don't know. Dracula turned out to be Judas Iscariot. Yeah, Jesus is Judas Iscariot. It was a nice twist. Then we have Don John, and I didn't mind this. Julianne Moore, Scarlett Johansson, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. A good cast in this film, and I had it on DVD and I purposely upgraded to Blu-ray. So, do you know what I mean? Because I enjoyed it. Drillbit Taylor, Owen Wilson. It's a kids' film. He's in down and out. He's homeless. These kids want someone to protect them from a bully. They hire him. I've always had fun with this film. It's silly. It's amusing. I like Owen Wilson. So, I'm keeping that. Then we have Darkest Hour. The Darkest Hour. And this is old Emil Hirsch. Yes, Girl Next Door, Emil Hirsch. I'm not keeping that. I've got another Darkest Hour anyway. But that one will be kept. Because that's a very good film. So, one Darkest Hour can go, one Darkest Hour can stay. And we have The Day the Earth Stood Still, the Keanu Reeves version. It's a film that I like the original, Klaatu Barada Nikto. I need to rewatch this version and decide on that one. That needs a rewatch. Then we have David Brent, Life on the Road. I've recently watched The Office. Literally, I finished it about a week ago, the UK Office, going through it. It is January 26th as I'm filming this. So I'm going to give this a rewatch. Just sort of finish that off. See how it holds up on the back of the series. Stallone in Daylight. I like this film. I like the concept. I like Stallone. So, you know, I've got no problem with this movie whatsoever. So that's a keeper. Dark Shadows. I remember enjoying it on the first watch. This should really sit in a maybe pile. I think there was a lot I liked about it, but then a lot that I didn't, if that makes sense. So I'll keep that one as a maybe. What else do we have here? Okay, we have The Day After Tomorrow. That'd look good in 4K. So, yeah, obviously that's a keeper. Roland Emmerich. We have the Da Vinci Code trilogy of movies, and I've always enjoyed these. Even this one. But this one's going to go into the get rid of pile because I actually have it in 4K, which I picked up for about £3, believe it or not. Yeah, 4K version of Inferno. So I can bring the 4K over here and sit it on this shelf to complete the trilogy over here. Bruce Willis's Death Wish. Such a shame what happened to Bruce Willis. It was just yesterday, I think, or the day before, that I read that he can now not communicate whatsoever. You know, if I was a praying person, he would be in my prayers. I would say that. I don't pray. I'm not religious in any way, shape or form. I don't believe in any higher power or anything like that. But not to take away from people that do. I think religion does cause a lot of trouble. That's the problem, really. But yeah, I don't believe in anything like that. But yeah, Bruce Willis, Death Wish. But all the best to him. He gave me a lot of enjoyment over the years, and still will moving forward. He's a mainstay of Christmas, obviously. Deep Blue Sea, great film, loved it. Remember my cinema trip. Thomas Jane, who after this had his ears pinned back and went on to become the Punisher. It's got some ropey special effects, but then it's got some fantastic special effects as well. The sharks that are animatronic look magnificent, and I got an appreciation for that. And I love a shark film. But that brings me to Deep Blue Sea 2, which is essentially a remake of Deep Blue Sea with little baby sharks acting more like piranha or something. It's not a good film. But I'm going to keep it because it's part of that franchise. Maybe I'm not harsh enough for you. I don't know. Then we have Deep Blue Sea 3, which was an uptick for the franchise. It was a bit better than the second one. That's all I'll say. And I didn't mind it. Yes. Not as nearly as good as the first one. Okay. But it was an uptick for the franchise. We are getting towards the end of this here shelf. Deep Impact. Again, I enjoyed it. I prefer Armageddon, but I enjoy this film. More of a sort of character-based story of what happened. This did have a 4K release. I didn't pick up the 4K of it. I'm quite happy with just the Blu-ray if I want to give the film a re-watch. Then we have Nicole Kidman in The Destroyer, and I don't think that will be watched again. So that one can go. District 9. Great film. Great film. So that's a keeper, most definitely. Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf, much like a sort of Rear Window remake. And again, not a film that I didn't mind it. Not a film that I minded at all. But I think that it deserves another rewatch because it could be a maybe, possibly get rid of. Then we have Dragonheart. I do have a Dragonheart. I don't know where it is now. I have a Dragonheart box set that contains 5 of them, all 5 films. So it's a great film, but I don't need 2 versions of it. So that one can go into that pile as well. Then we have Dragon Wars. I bought this cheap when it first came out. This is very early days of my Blu-ray collecting, and it's not been watched since. So that one can be a goner. Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage. And that's thingy, innit? What's the face that no one likes? Amber Heard. Amber Heard stars in this. Drive Angry. So I'll keep that one. I didn't mind that as a Cage film. Dirty Dancing Collector's Edition. I have a couple of copies of this film, so I'm pretty sure that this one we can say goodbye to, because I have boxed one that I picked up cheap somewhere. I haven't got it in 4K though. And then we have Dead Again in Tombstone, this being the last film, starring Danny Trejo and Jake Busey, son of Gary. I've not watched it, it's still sealed. They're picked up in Poundland, cheap. So that one I will keep for now until I do a rewatch. So how does this shelf look at the moment? Let's take a look, because that's everything done. So let me handball. So here we go. Look, I've cleared. Oh, sorry, I've taken these off. These are the ones from last episode. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see actually. Where's my hand? I've got that space there made because this was filled to the end. So I've got that. So up here on this shelf, I've made that space there. This shelf, I've made this space here. And up there, it was filled along the top. So we're getting there. We're making some headway into this culling, which, like I said, is quite freeing. It's quite liberating to do this. So, oops. Let's have a quick run through of the films that I had here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 discs. Last episode was 14 discs. So it's roughly about the same amount percentage-wise that I'm getting, would get shot of here. So we have Duel. Like I said, 4K, got it again. So that's why. Dragon Wars, we'll never rewatch it. Dragonheart. I have a 5-disc box set, the whole 5 films. Yes, the other's not very good. Dinosaur Project. I cannot watch found footage movies. Won't ever rewatch. Will not ever rewatch, but the classic TV series was good. The Allegiant Divergent series of films. It was never completed. The story never came to a conclusion. I won't ever rewatch them. Dirty Dancing, I have another copy of it. It's not my sort of film. The wife likes it. But there we go. For me, okay, great song at the end. But if not for that song, I don't think the film would be worth anything at all. Then we have Destroyer, a film that I will not rewatch. Then we have Inferno. I have a 4K upgrade. So that's still sealed, by the way. Still sealed. Then we have Darkest Hour, the one with Emil Hirsch. I think it's a sci-fi film, but again, I won't rewatch it. And Nick Cage's Dying in the Light. So they're the ones that, you know, will join my pile of stuff to get rid of. Now, like I said, I will reiterate what I said at the beginning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all this stuff together. I'm going to go through all these shelves. Then at the end of the day, I will do a video where I show each film, again, every film that I am disposing of, and I will at that point have checked prices and whatnot, because let's be fair, if something is out of print, it might be worth preserving. If something is worth a bit of money that I could sell it on and the money could come back into the collection, then I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I will open up to you lot out there watching if you want anything, and I will send it out. But that's going to be a little while away yet. So, yeah, that's what I'll do at the end of the day. So that's it. That's me done again for another episode of Culling the Collection. Like I said, it's quite a liberating thing to do. Next, we're going to drop down to the shelf below that, which has got a lot of E's on it and a few C's mixed in. I mean, looking at that shelf now, there's things like E.T. E.T. I don't need because I've got a steelbook for it and I've got 4K for it. So there are some stuff there looking now. I don't want to get into that one because it becomes too much. It becomes too heavy, too overpowering, shall we say? That I'm dreading when I'm at the end of this and I've actually got this massive pile of probably a couple of 100 movies that I want to get rid of. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit daunting, really. So I don't want to do it all in one go. Plus, I could be sat here for hours doing this video. But anyway, so there we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. Comments down below. And hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks. Same day, same time. same day as in whatever day this is. Is it Saturday this is airing? I don't know. Do I put this out on a Saturday? I have to look at that. I have to check that out. But anyway, take care all, and I'll see you soon.